welcome back to Neecee Lexy. Today I have the very, very special guest. You guys have seen him twice already in the Neecee Lexy blog, and he's actually one of our top 10 most viewed artists that has been featured in the Neecee Lexy. In our last conversation, we talked about his new music song videos that released was Baby. And today I have the pleasure to finally meet him on a live chat where we get to kind of actually sit down and discuss more about his musical journey and get to know more about him. This is the one and only Barry from based in Vancouver but raised in Toronto, and I'm super, super excited to have you back again with us here. How you doing, Barry?
Hey, what's up, Lexy? Thanks for having me. I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's nice to catching up with you finally in a live chat.
Yeah, I've been meaning to meet you. We've contacted each other for so long over social media, but we never actually got a chance to talk in person. This is amazing.
It is. And the fact that we live in the same city is just such a chaotic that how we never actually got to meet in person. But I'm so glad that you had the time today to meet us here.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. So for those new viewers that don't know so much about you, do you want to like kind of explain yourself on who you are as an artist and what you do?
Okay, well, there's a lot to talk about, but in a nutshell, I'm a pop R&B singer-songwriter from Toronto. Even though I'm from Vancouver originally, but I consider myself Torontonian because I was here since I was 4 years old. I've been recording music for the past couple of years now. Constantly evolving, constantly changing my image and my sound. I'm not afraid to admit that right now because honestly, like I'm still finding myself as an artist. Like I'm just growing and constantly, and especially with quarantine happening, I just had a lot of time to really, reflect and really discover who I am as a person, as an artist, as a man. So definitely. You know how it is. And during quarantine, I actually released my first EP, which includes 5 songs, and still campaigning that right now, but I'm back in the studio recording my new album.
Oh, it's amazing. Actually, this is something we look forward to listening to. So with regards to the EP that you have released, what can we expect out of it, and what type of like musical inspirational tone that we're expecting out of it?
Yeah, so for this EP, it's called Feels, and the title is pretty self-explanatory. So there's 5 really personal songs. There's elements of like different genres of music. So I kind of like approach this differently because instead of constantly focusing on what's popular, what's trending right now, I want to focus more on how I feel. So every song has a different element. There's a lot of like 2000s R&B references. There's some 80s references, and it talks a lot about my personal life in terms of like, losing a loved one. Relationships, failed relationships, breakups, and stuff like that. Just stuff that I've actually gone through. So that's why this EP is a little bit different than my previous releases because it is very personal and it's pretty self-explanatory when you listen to it. So that's something definitely I'm proud of. And I want to continue writing stuff from the heart.
Fantastic. And thank you so much for sharing that with us and also, first of all, congratulations on completing the EP and actually releasing it. And so where can we listen to it and where do we purchase it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you just type in my name, Barry Szeto Feels, it's on all streaming platforms. It's on YouTube Music, it's on Spotify, iTunes, Google Music. You can even, what do you call it? Shazam it if you want, whatever you want. It's all there. So yeah. So just type in my name, Barry Szeto, and my album should pop up right there. Yeah, and choose your So enjoy it.
That's amazing. And for those who wanted to follow Barry on Instagram, he also posted on here. So Barry Szeto Sings. And also on Facebook, Barry Seto's Music, and also on YouTube, you can find him there as well. So going down deeper with regards to how you are currently like finding your styles within the music. So how would you describe your overall style at the moment, like your musical style?
Well, I always address myself as a pop artist and always listen to R&B. So like growing up, I've always been an R&B singer. I've always been doing R&B shows. I grew up in Scarborough. So a lot of the shows I do are urban showcases. So I was always the only Asian kid singing in the shows. So I always address myself as a pop R&B urban artist. But of course, I do want to start dabbling on with different genres as well, different styles of music. And But if you had to say, if I had to narrow it down, definitely pop R&B would be my choice.
Okay, that's amazing. And lately, like I have noticed that there's a lot of shift in the R&B world, even just in the music in general. Like a lot of like big artists are moving into tasting a lot of the Afrobeat kind of concept of it. Is this something that down the line that you'll be considering on tasting it as well?
Absolutely, yeah. Afrobeats, dancehall, reggae, that stuff I grew up with. You know what I mean? Like that's the stuff I've been listening to my whole life, and definitely, if I can, I would love to like incorporate some of that into my newer music. But as of now, I want to focus more on writing stuff that touches people, that touches me. So I want to reflect that on people. But definitely Afrobeats, reggaeton, dancehall, that's all those fun music. I call it my fun music. I love it. One day, definitely, for sure.
So what are some of the best strategy that you use personally, or you would think that for new artists that is coming up into the industry, that they can use it in order to stay like authentic, so that their craft doesn't look like somebody else, it will look more unique?
Oh, yeah, for sure. The thing is, like, it's really hard. I mean, especially if you're coming up as a new artist, it's extremely hard to find an authentic sound. Because especially if you're not managed, especially if you don't have a label backing you up, and being independent, it's very easy to fall into the trap of finding what's trending, finding what's popular, and you end up comparing yourself to the current artist. And I, for one, am guilty of that. Like I've done that my whole entire like career, and you know that kind of backfires sometimes because you know people end up, hey, why do you sound like this? Why do you sound like that? And finding your own authentic sound takes time. Like so much time. For me, it took quarantine to figure out like myself, and I'm still searching. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I haven't completely like found myself, you know, completely yet. But to stay authentic, you got to really figure out what touches you, even if it's not like the most popular songs out there right now. But if it touches you, and people will see that, and that's what I learned the hard way.
That's amazing. So with you being in the industry again, back to the experience and the work, the fact that you have been singing for so long, what would you say was one of your best memorable moments, and why?
Oh wow, there's quite a few actually. Well, definitely performing in Miami for the first time. That was a couple of years back, and that was pretty amazing. It's my first time outside of Canada. And a few years ago, I opened up for Carl Wolf at the Hershey Center, which is probably one of the biggest stadiums I've performed at, which is pretty cool. And pretty much, like, I've done so much. I've done a lot of TV appearances, radio interviews, stuff like that. Honestly, like, as an artist, any opportunity like that, any opportunity is amazing. So, like, but those are the main highlights. But, like, everything that I can get my hands on right now is a blessing to me. So, yeah.
Okay. So for the fact that Carla Wolf opening up for him, that's also obviously a big deal. For your new album that you're working on, can we expect any like collaborations with other artists, or what's happening in there?
We're discussing that. We're not 100% sure yet, but I want to first figure out the style of music I want to do. I want to figure out like the theme or whatever it is to figure out, you know, all that before I want to incorporate artists. But as of now, it's me. And I'm working with a new producer. Her name is Daniel.
Awesome.
And I can't wait. We've already started working on a song, and it's like, wow. Yeah, it's been doing really well.
With the whole COVID experience, how like it has actually impacted a lot of people, especially in the entertainment industry, where a lot of people kind of just put a pause on their albums or they release some production. How were you able to like manage this pandemic experience and in order to stay active with your craft?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, it's been quite the opposite. Like, I haven't put my music on hold because my initial release date was supposed to be in June before I knew about the pandemic, but because the pandemic happened, it actually forced me to really sit and start working on my craft even more. And then I utilized social media to release my EP, and I started campaigning that, and you know, on all social media platforms. And I found that people are more engaged because they are at home and they are watching. So for me, it's been pretty good. I don't know about other artists, but I find with other artists, yes, they may have put hold on live performing and stuff like that, but nothing is stopping you from releasing music because we can still release it on on major platforms, which is still great because we don't need to sell CDs in stores like back in the day anymore because we can do everything different. So I think artists now are probably happy with that. It's just minus the live performing. That's all, and we can still do that and we can actually do that virtually right now, which is amazing.
That's great. And I also noticed that lately during the quarantine, a lot of like DJs or artists are being doing a lot of like Instagram live party. Was that also
Yeah.
something that you're involved in? And
Yeah, I've done a couple of like, performances. Yeah, and I've done a couple of like virtual concerts, which is amazing. I had this company from Alberta who was hosting a concert series, and I was featured on 2 of them. So yeah, I did like a nice half an hour set, just me in my house with a fake mic, So it was pretty cool. Yeah, it's great for interacting because I'm actually interacting with people, and I find that people actually want to see your true self. Rather than Photoshop pictures and all these fancy schmancy stuff, they want to see the real person. So I find that being in quarantine, it allowed a lot of people to see the true artist's authentic self. Just in our sweatpants or t-shirts and just like chilling, and that's what I find is a positive thing.
That's actually great. So for the concert that you have been a part of, do you mind also later on? I'm gonna actually get the link so I can post in the description below so that other people.
Yeah, sure. Well, the concert's over right now, but I can definitely send you over the link of the company that's been hosting the shows. Yeah, yeah, for
sure. They have a restream where the people can go back and watch it again, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's on Facebook, so it's called I View for You.
Oh, okay. I will have them linked in the description below. So
yeah. So yeah. I will definitely send that over to you shortly, and this way you can get the actual link.
Okay, perfect. So, apart from are you currently like working in any other like big projects apart from just like the music album, or do you have any other like, let's say, merchandise? Because I noticed that a lot of artists right now, they focus on also rebranding themselves in the other branches like entrepreneurship. Is that something that you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so for as of now, I'm still currently focusing on working on this new album, but still campaigning my current EP. But in terms of merchandise, I want to figure out what capacity I want to make this album to be first before I want to start making merchandise and exploring different other options out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. So with regards to like, let's say for these young kids that are watching us right now at home and thinking of entering the music industry, what advice do you have for them that they can take in personal and actually go study on it? Like, what are 3 messages that you wanted to leave them with?
There's so many because I've gone through it all, and like the stuff you see on TV and what you hear is all true. Like, people, it can get dark, it can get bad, you can end up with the wrong people. So I would say if you're just a kid, like make sure your parents are involved, make sure they're signing waivers for you, make sure they're around. And the thing is, you may have to spend a bit of money sometimes, but make sure it's coming from someone who's has a good track record and not someone who's shady, when it's just easy to find. And just to enjoy it. Do it for the love of music. Don't do it for the fame and fortune, because that's going to fade fast. You got to really do it because you actually love the craft. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's probably the number one thing I would take from this, that I would leave with them.
Okay, that's actually
the industry to be in.
Yeah, the industry can be like a blessing and a curse. You just have to kind of be smart about it, and the fact that you got to know like study the people before you kind of get involved with a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. And you can pinpoint who's shady. You can pinpoint who is, kind of not really there for the right reasons. You got to really trust your gut in that sense. Trusting your gut is the number one thing, because, if you feel something is not right, most likely you're right, especially in this business. People can like say nice things to you to get you to do something, and, and that can go both ways. So I would really just do your own hustle, do your own grind. That's the only thing you can do that will achieve the real deal,
That's great. Thank you for that. And I'm sure that a lot of our young audiences right now are kind of taking notes, and a lot for those who are hoping to get into the industry now, they're gonna kind of getting like a real person for so long to like give the real tea. So thank you for that.
And they can message me, like find me on Instagram and Facebook, like follow me, and if you have any questions, DM me. I answer back for the most part. So yeah.
That's great. So one thing that I also wanted to kind of, because I know earlier you talked about how social media has been a very important aspect of you kind of promoting your music and things like that. So what other elements do you think that with the social media or some platform that you prefer best as an artist?
as well, the thing is, the music industry and entertainment industry is constantly evolving. But as of now, social media platforms are probably the number one outlet to really promote yourself, to really let yourself, shine. Right? As of now, I mean, like, if it wasn't for a pandemic, I would be out doing shows. And there's also people who appreciate live performances and live shows and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as of now, social media is definitely the best platform. There's no way around it.
Okay, sounds good. So now we are gonna take some questions from our production teams behind the scenes. They have some questions for you. So one of the questions, they say, what was it the moment that you noticed that singing was for you, not any other career?
Okay, well, growing up, I was always taught. I mean, I grew up in an Asian household, so we were always taught to be, go to school, have your education, and make your money, do the 9 to 5, and that's fine for if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But like I was always artistic, so from a young age, and when I started doing talent shows, I started doing taking music lessons. I realized that's probably my strongest talent that I've ever had, and then at a very young age, I also started doing local talent shows and stuff like that. So then based on love performing, I knew from then that's what I wanted to do.
The next question: how do you deal with burnout? What they meant is that how like sometimes as an entrepreneur you'll be working in a lot of your craft, and then you'll be doing for, let's say, a year or two, and then you realize, oh my god, like this is actually overwhelming and too much. So how do you deal with that?
Oh, okay, yeah, that actually did happen to me a few years ago. So prior to my latest EP that I just released, I did take a bit of a break. So I was on a bit of a hiatus because I just realized that, and what I said before, like I kept, making music that I feel that was trending, that's popular, and then it did burn me out because I'm constantly chasing after and competing with what's out there, and that's so exhausting. And like I didn't even care about how authentic I sounded or looked anymore, and I kind of lost myself in a sense. Mm-hmm. So that part of my life was my burnout. So I did take a small break, and by the way, don't be afraid to take breaks, guys. You don't have to work your till exhaustion. If you need to take a break, take it. So during that break, I did find some time to reflect on everything and just sort of just reset my mind and just really find out who I am as a person and as an artist. So so taking breaks would be my remedy for burnouts.
Yeah. Okay, so that's actually a great advice because even us, just like for me as a digital marketer, there is a period where we reach and kind of be like, just because we're doing it too much, and sometimes we're doing it for the hype, or we could just be doing it for our own personal needs, and then we realize like, oh my god, we actually needed that break. And that break for me, where like I just kind of put it on pause and actually not only put it on pause, but actually left the country. I went to UK, stayed there for 3 months, and then so yeah.
Good for you, and it helped, and it worked, right? And it made you feel better. No, for sure, it did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I definitely kind of relate to the fact that you say that take a break. A break is necessary, is needed, because you want to be able to recharge and come back stronger than ever.
And this is this is also a good thing about being an independent artist, because we're not tied to a management label or a company or whatever. So this way we can actually take control. And if you want to take a break, we'll take a break, and social media platforms allow us to release our music independently in our terms, which is I find great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So another thing that I also wanted to talk about is like, with regards to like you being an independent artist, obviously not being signed, what other things that are you using in order to protect your music?
Mm-hmm. So I am with pretty much all the Canadian music distributing companies, like SoCan and stuff like that, to protect your music and so pretty much if you're on SoCan, if you're on DistroKid, if you're on the most major platforms, you're pretty much protected.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, there are other ways you can protect your music, but it's not completely necessary anymore, but you can if you want to. But as long as you're on SoCan, as long as you have your music distributed, as long as your name is on it, you're good.
Okay. So in the next round of this meeting, we are going to be playing some 3 games. It has to be like a sing it or drop it. Okay?
Okay. All right. So, I'm going to try my best.
It's going to be easy. It's just either you're saying sing it or drop it, and why. So relationship songs or party songs? Which one would you sing it? Which one would you drop it?
I would sing relationship songs.
Why?
Because it's relatable to everyone. Because we've all been through it.
That is good. Okay. The next one is sing for the rest of your life or become a singer, a music teacher.
Oh my gosh. Probably sing for the rest of my life. I don't know if I can handle teaching per se. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a good enough. And then the last questions I have here. Has to do, okay. Would you rather do an a cappella or a live performance with about a bunch of audiences? A cappella any day, anywhere.
I feel like if I say one thing, people are going to judge me regardless. But I'm also an entertainer, so I do like to perform for people. So in an audience, yes.
Okay, that's good enough. So
if I say I want to perform a cappella anywhere, that means I'm a true artist and I just do it for the music. But I do like it for the music, but I also like to entertain. So like I have to choose that one.
That's fair enough. It's fair enough.
Right. Room to do, so like I'm sorry.
And I know that you do a lot of cover for YouTube, basically. Which one of the cover that you have done so far would you say is your favorite cover at the moment?
Oh my gosh, I did so much. I did like Justin Bieber. My favorite one is the LMA's Buddha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I was listening to that one before.
That's at the pageant.
Yeah.
You were judging. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. And you actually have an amazing voice, just to let you know that. When I actually listened to you, because I was like, saw your submission before, and then I went into YouTube. I was listening to all your track. I was like, oh my god, he actually has an amazing voice. That was before I met you. So I do hoping to listen to your. I'm hoping to your new album. I'm gonna definitely like wait for it so that I can also share with my audiences. And you being because what I do is like every now and then I would try to like kind of send out what's it called, a social media post poll to see how many people actually kind of like talk about or which of their favorite artists that they like in Neecee, Lexy, and your name also always constantly comment. So that's why we had to do this live to kind of give the people.
I love that. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, so thank you for that. Actually, it's a pleasure having you here today. It's been a minute that I wanted to actually have you in this.
Yeah, totally. I'm so glad we finally got a chance to meet up and talk about me.
Yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to be with us here today. So for anybody that wants to follow you, I know your social media handles are all here. They can follow you on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or simply just Google your name at Barry Santos. I hope I said it correctly. Santos?
Yeah, Szeto.
Szetos. Okay.
Yeah.
And is there any other message or things that our viewers can look forward to?
Yeah. Well, first of all, like, thank you everyone who's actually paid attention to my music and who's ever messaged me, whoever added me on Instagram or Facebook, and just taking their time to really discover me as an artist. I really appreciate it, and I'll be continuing making music for me, but it's also for everyone as well. So I make music for me, but also to relate for you guys to relate to as well. And during this pandemic, I just really hope everyone is safe, everyone is well, and continue to follow your dreams. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but like it's just don't let this stop you. And like I have faith, there's no second wave, and I have faith this is going to end soon. So like COVID, okay, you know what I mean? So I just think that everyone should keep doing what you're doing, and thank you again for everything, really.
Awesome. And then also, do you want to give any shout outs? Because I know as an artist, there's a lot of people that came in and paved the way for you and also supported you along the way. So this is a moment where you can give them a shout out. There's
so many. Okay, well, definitely shout out my producers who worked on both my EPs. Danny Rosener, Daniel J. Shepard, Scott Dion Brown. We all know Scott. He recorded a lot of my covers and shot a couple of my videos. And I can't remember everyone right now because I didn't expect to do that. But everyone who's actually supported me, everyone who's been involved with my music in any way, shape, or form, thank you guys. You know who you are.
No problem. And thank you for being here today. It's an honor to have you. Always feel free to come back anytime when you have your music. We would love to hear it. So do come back anytime you want. All right. Have a good night. And
I really appreciate it.
no problem. Have a safe night. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.